Friends, welcome. Today our discussion will be on export, import, import process, and the concept of export house and Exim policy. We plan to discuss all these things today. Going to share the screen with you. As you already know, these are the products which India exports. You can go through them: petroleum products, mineral fuels, oils, petroleum products in the means processed petroleum product like naphthalene, sulfur gas, lubricants, etc. Mineral fuels, including oils, gems, precious metals, computer machineries, and organic products, electrical machineries, equipments, chemicals, iron, steel, pharmaceutical products. These are India's major exports. Coming to import parts, crude petroleum is imported. All of us are aware of this thing. That is, in fact, the India's major import is crude petroleum. Then gold, pearls, precious stones, petroleum products, telecom instruments, electronic components, industrial machinery, elect, electrical components. Then animals, vegetable fats, oils, waxes, plastics, plastic articles, medical apparatus. All these things are imported by India. And yesterday also in the previous class we were discussing, and we had also seen that major import is from China, next to it USA, then UAE. These are the countries from where we export. Almost 13.66% of our export is from China, and our sorry, that is what I told you. Import. This was our import. Okay, other countries are exporting, but we are importing. Our major import is from China. This particular slide which I showed you, this is related to import. Okay, export value means the other countries export. Okay, now coming to our exports. So we export to USA, UAE, China also, Hong Kong. So these are the countries to whom India exports. Now let us understand how to start export. So since we are studying this international trade and business, we need to understand the export process. Okay, the first step to start the export is establishing an organization. One may think to do this business in the form of a sole proprietorship, or maybe in partnership, maybe in a company. Okay, so any form one can think of. So deciding the organization is the first step. Next is that if you want to start export, one need a bank account, minimum and necessary thing. Bank account and permanent account number, both are important. Permanent account number and bank account, that has to be done. You know what is permanent account number? PAN, have you heard of?
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
okay, so one can apply for that. So if the business organization doesn't have any PAN, they can very well apply. One can go to the income tax department's website, www.incometaxindia.gov.in. There is a link. Through that link, one can apply PAN, apply for PAN. Okay, so PAN is necessary, and PAN will also help that entity to open a bank account. Okay, the first step is organization, bank account, PAN. PAN can be easily uh, obtained either electronically online by using the link provided in income tax department's website, or you can search out what are the PAN facilitation centers in the city. Every city has got many PAN facilitation centers. Suppose you are talking about the city of Bhubaneswar, you can find out using search engine PAN facilitation centers and Bhubaneswar. You can find out the list. You can visit to the nearest center and get your PAN card. So this is the minimum thing. Next step, so this is the organization setup. Our next major step is the obtaining this particular thing, which is called as IEC. IEC stands for IEC stands for what?
Importer exporter code.
Code. So that is essential. Now one may think that how to apply it. How to apply it? Link is provided in this website. You can see this website. What is the website? Can you read it? What's the website?
www.dgft.government.in.
Yeah, so this is the website of Director General of Foreign Trade. Okay, they are online. You can apply in particular from ANF to A is to be applied. Application fee is 500 rupees. One can apply, one can get IEC. We'll be seeing, we'll be visiting to that website. We'll see what is that website, how this has to be applied. Okay, so that is important. Without this code, export import is not possible. This code is PAN based, it's linked to your PAN. So first PAN is required, then IEC code is required to start export. Okay, understood up to this. These 4 steps are over, then we'll go to the next step. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, next process is registration cum membership certificate. Okay, so that is called as RCMC. Okay, so you know now we are following a foreign trade policy 2015-20. Okay, so as per that, one is supposed to, where this is possible, where this is applicable, one is supposed to get this certificate from the concerned export promotion councils, okay, or concerned commodity boards and authorities. So this kind of certificate are required. So for this thing, one need to read this foreign trade policy and get this certificate. Next is our procedural operational things. That is, one is to select the product, which product needs to be exported. That you have to take a decision. Then selection of market, to which market you are going to export, because the quality expectations of different exports markets are different. Their payment terms are different. The kind level of competition you face in different market, that also vary. So keeping all this mind, one has to all this in mind, one has to decide what is the market and what is the product that is going to be exported. Then once market is selected, next step is that finding out appropriate buyers. That has to be carefully selected. Who are the buyers? So previous classes we have understood that various organizations are there. They organize various trade fairs. They give information about the buyers. Through them, one can select who are the buyers. Okay. Then samples needs to be sent. Most of the cases, buyer asks for a sample. Okay. So samples needs to be sent according to the terms which are provided in our India's foreign trade policy. So bona fide samples are to be sent. After that, product pricing is also crucial. One has to decide at what price one should export the things. Okay, so that whether the price should include the carriage and freight, etc., or it is just an FOB free on board. After that, carriage and freight expenditures will be on the buyer. That decision has to be taken. So pricing decision is also important. One may negotiate with the buyer to fix the price. Then one may decide to cover the credit risk. Okay, credit risk coverage. Previous class we have understood this organization ECGC, Export Credit Guarantee Commission. Okay, so here what happens? Credit risk guarantees are given by this organization. Okay, so Export Credit Guarantee Corporations Limited. Okay, ECGC. We'll be visiting to that website also. So they give export credit guarantee. So it may be advisable for an entity to go for an ECGC policy, so that credit risk can be protected. So these are the normal process followed in case of an export. Okay, but when processing the export order, this detailed process needs to be followed. First of all, confirmation of the export order. When the order has come, one has to minutely check that that is a genuine order or not. One may procure goods as per requirement of the order. Quality control is important. Export market is different from domestic market. So quality control aspects needs to be looked into very carefully. Finance aspects. So if finance is required, so various financial institutions give finance before shipment, post shipment. Finances are available. So one may think of arranging finances, labeling, packaging, and packing and marking the things. Packets needs to be marked. So those terms has to be complied with. Insurance is also important. Then product needs to be delivered. Okay. Then customs procedures needs to be followed. Okay. Certain products attracts customs duty. So what is the duty applicable for exports that provided in customs tariff? One can refer to that. And custom procedure involves exporter needs to collect a number which is called as the BIN. BIN stands for business identification number. That is also required. One can avail the services of customs house agent for this. Customs house agent services are there. One can avail. Required documentation has to be made, and certain documents needs to be submitted to the bank if bank finance is availed. Then finally, export procedures needs to be realized. So this is the detailed processing of export order. Got some queries here. These three things: what is the documentation, submission of documents to bank, and realization of exit procedures, I'll be explaining in detail. But up to this, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Now, documentation. You see, foreign trade policy requires that in case of export and import, these three documents are minimum necessary. One is bill of lading. Second is commercial invoice, packing list. Third is shipping bill or bill of export or bill of entry for imports. So these documents are necessary, but maybe some other documents like certificate of origin, inspection certificate, all this documentation may be necessary for this export import transaction. So one has to prepare those kind of documents. Okay, and it may be required to submit these documents to the bank. Okay, so like bill of exchange, letter of credit, invoice, packing list, some bill of lading or airway bill, then declaration under Foreign Exchange Management Act, then certificate of origin, then inspection certificate wherever necessary. So other documents might be necessary if credit facilities are arranged for the bank. If banks gives you LC, then these documents are required. Okay, understood? So within 21 days of dispatch, these documents need to be submitted to the bank. Then finally, realization of export. You have exported the things, but you have also got an obligation to realize the export proceedings. Okay, if for some reason export proceedings are not realized, then you may write to the banker for writing up it. Export proceeds should be realized within 9 months. Okay, within 9 months, one has to realize the export proceedings. So this is the procedure for export. Coming to import, procedure is relatively simple. You decide the country, you decide the supplier, you search the supplier. There are certain products which are restricted, you cannot import it. So our customs law prescribe certain things, you cannot import those things to India. So you have to keep in mind the product that are importing are not prohibited under law. Then import will attract certain duty. You have to pay your duty and taxes as per customs tariff law. Then find out who are the people who will provide these trade services or trade forwarders or customs broker, which will be helping you to import the things. Then finally, goods will be shipped. This is the process followed in case of import. Okay. To understand all these processes in detail, so I suggest you to visit these three websites. Okay, one is Indian Trade Portal. Second is your DGFT. Third one is ECGC. Three portals will be saying. I'll be taking you to all these websites. First, let us go to Indian Trade Portal to understand the export-import process. This mostly deals with the export process, then DGFT, then ECGC. Okay. Just give me a moment. Are you seeing my screen now? First, I'll go to Indian Trade Portal, right? Yeah, Indian Trade Portal is here. Are you able to see it? This will give you a brief idea about how to import and how to export. Okay, if you want to know about this organization, you can go here and find out how this organization is helping. Okay, services available. Are you watching it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see, apply for certificate of origin, how to export, you see. This link is there, just I'm showing you. Step by step processes are there. Okay. These are the processes which you have discussed. Processing of export order, you see here in detail, things are there. So I had broadly explained you, but in detail, if you want to know the process, you can go here. What are the document, how is to be submitted. So this is a very helpful website. Okay. For exporters, you can directly find out many other services which are available. Okay, export promotion bodies in India, links are available. International trade bodies, links are available, so one can see it. Got it? Okay, then I told you let us visit to one more website, which is DGFT, that is Director General of Foreign Trade. Let us visit them. That is a very important site because the IEC code application we have to do through this site. You see, this is a link dgft.gov.in. Okay, are you able to see it? Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I request some of you, please. I had already told you what is IEC. IEC means what?
Import export code.
Yeah, I request some of you, please read this first paragraph, which talks about you can get IEC. You see, apply for IEC. Link is here. You can apply for here. That is essential. Once you got the PAN card, next is that importer exporter code. Please read this first paragraph. What is written here? If you are able to understand what is IEC. Can you read it here? First paragraph, if it is visible. Is it clearly visible or it's not visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Yeah. So please read it.
The importer exporter code is a key business identification number which is mandatory for exports or
Mandatory for exports and imports. Then okay, it's not audible. Can somebody else read it quickly?
inside the foreign trade or technologies.
Okay. So let me read it. No person shall make import or export except under an IEC number granted by DGFT. In case of import or export of services or technology, the IEC shall be required only when the services or technology provider is taking benefit under foreign trade policy or is dealing with specified services or technology. So far as goods are concerned, export and import is not at all possible without IEC. Okay, so Here you see all the links are also there. You can go in detail to understand various announcements. Okay, to understand this organization, you can find out what are the services of this organization. Okay. Okay. You may feel free to visit this website some other point of time. Then next organization I told you need to visit to their website is ECGC, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. Now you see, let me visit to their website. Okay, it is appearing in Hindi. We'll convert it to our English version. Now you see, you can understand about this organization. Okay, you can see about us. If you click, you'll be able to understand. Let us go to overview. You can have an idea. You see, with the objective of promoting export from the country by providing credit, risk, insurance, and related services for exports. Okay, so it operates under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and it provides these services. How ECGC helps the exporters? You can have a look at this. Provides guidance in export-related activities, makes available information in different countries with its own credit rating, makes it easy to obtain export finance from banks and financial institutions, assists exporters in recovering bad debts, provides information on creditworthiness of overseas buyers. Okay, so these are the services provided by ECGC. These are three more institutions which helps in export. I think you have understood those things. These three websites I wanted you to visit: Indian Trade Portal, then DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade, then Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. Okay, three websites I visited. Now, friends, quickly let us understand the concept of export house. Okay, what is an export house? As you can read from the slide, it's a registered exporter holding a valid export house certificate issued by DGFT. DGFT, just now we visited their website. So that organization issues this certificate, export house certificate. If someone is holding that certificate, that will be treated as an export house. You can see an example of an export house certificate. Okay, you see there are various classifications. This is, you can see what is written here. Can you read it? Can you read it out?
1-star export house.
1-star export house. You can see 1-star mark is there. That can be 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star export houses, depending upon the value of exports. So objective of these export houses is that it will make available supplies of essential commodities to consumers at a reasonable price on regular basis. It will ensure fair price of its produce. It will minimize the price fluctuation. It will undertake the procurement and maintenance of buffer stocks. Some stock will be readily available. It will arrange for storage, transportation, packaging, and processing. These are the objectives for which export houses are formed. And there are various forms of export. You know, manufacturer exporter, they manufacture and export. Merchant exporter, they trade, they buy and export. Then service exporters. Export-oriented units are there. So almost 100% of the products that are exported in different places. They are located, EOUs. Similarly, special economic zones or SEZs are also there. Under this SEZ, various entities are there. They also do export. Then software technology parks. So this is this under that park also various entities are operate. They also do a lot of exports. So these are various forms of export. Once somebody obtains an export house certificate from DGFT, it is valid for 5 years. It can be renewed subsequent. Okay. So the basic function of export house is that they take better care of the buyer's specification, provide them good quality products. They invest on technological tools, okay, so that their products and services can be competitive in international market. They export large volume of products so that the per unit cost comes low. Okay, so this is about export house. Next concept which we are going to discuss is about Exim policy. Okay, or it is also referred to as foreign trade policy. So if you visit to the DGFT website, there you can search what is foreign trade policy. Entire foreign trade policy, you can read it. It's a long policy, so we'll not go deep into it. We'll not learn in detail in it. Just we'll have brief idea what is this. So when you talk about Exim policy or export import policy or foreign trade policy (FTP), what is it? It is basically a set of guidelines and instructions relating to exports and imports. So government has framed these guidelines to facilitate export and import. So this guideline keeps us changing from year to year. Every year it gets changed. Okay. So it is the primary policy which lays down simple and transparent procedures which needs to be followed in all kind of foreign trades, be it export or be it import. Every foreign trade follows these processes. They're very simple process, transparent procedures. And the objective of framing this policy is to enhance countries' trade and ensure that economic growth happens and also employment generation. It also these policies also encourages employment generation. Apart from this foreign trade policy, there are other two important laws are also relevant for export and import. The one is customs tariff act. Custom tariff act is what the rates are prescribed on which product, what is the customs duty. And central excise tariff act. Central excise is applicable on the production of goods. Okay, but with GST, most of the products are removed from the purview of central excise tariff. Okay, they are coming under GST. GST is also important. GST is also paid on international trade and commerce. Okay. And this central excise tariff is applicable as of now on some limited products. Okay. So if you see our foreign trade policy, as I told you, it's a large policy. You can see it in the GFT website. So this policy broadly, if you discuss, so it talks about two kinds of, you can say, export is divided into two types. One is mercantile export, second is service export. Okay, so broadly this is what that means services and goods. There can be two classifications like this. And this policy, as of now, we are having this policy is intended to encourage agricultural and village industry products to be exported. So policies are designed in such a way that it supports export of agriculture and village industry products. Okay, support is also provided for packaged agricultural and food items. Right, industrial products are also supported. This policy also supports or facilitates branding campaigns so that products can be branded. Okay, and these export houses are classified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star export houses. This provision is there in this policy. Okay, and this policy is designed in such a way that to follow the procedures, one need not repeatedly submit the physical copies of the documents. Okay, online submission is possible. Okay, to encourage this online submission of all this data. So these are provided in the policy. Just you can have a look about how export houses are classified depending upon their performance or depending upon the 3-year board, what is the value of export, 3-year board or 3-year board on the basis of value of export. So 1-star house means the export performance is 3 million US dollars. 2-star house, 25 million US dollars. 3-star house, 100 million US dollars. 4-star house, $500 million, five-star house. If they attend 2,000 million US dollars, then it will be rated as five-star export house. Okay, so this is how our Exim policy or foreign trade policy classifies the export house. Okay, so broadly we discussed all these concepts which are relating to export. Okay, if you got any query, please let me know at this stage. Any query you have?